Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to the Breakfast Show. I'm your host, Martin Wong. And this morning, for our trading idea with SMARTRobie, we are bringing with you the intermediate level. That's right. So you know that during our intermediate, we'll be looking at some trending stock and also reviewing what we had last week also. Now, this week, the market seems to be very muted in here, and we have all this in our upcoming news segment. All right, so let's go on and do share this video in your timeline, and we really appreciate for your time enjoying us with this morning in here. So definitely there is more that we can share and educate it in here. Now let's go on to what we have for you this morning. That's right. Now this morning, and don't forget, we are on Wednesday, so we'll be looking at some of those trending stocks as well as the new sentiment that we have and looking at the chart setup as part and parcel of our education program in here. Now, if you do have any stocks that you want me to look at, do share that in your timeline. I'll be happy to look at that too. All right, let's go and look at what we have for you this morning here in our promotion. That's right. Now our iPad giveaway for our marketing campaign to get more people to use SMARTRobie in here definitely is this campaign that we are doing, iPad giveaway, and also 50 Grab vouchers. That's right, for 50 Grab vouchers in here. All information is available in your SMARTRobie apps in your notification, and how you can grab hold and have a chance to win this nice, beautiful looking iPad. That's right, a 10.2. So make sure you join us in there, and don't forget to share to everybody. So thank you for coming this morning. Now, of course, our news morning roundup. That's right, our news morning roundup this morning is have to be our MCO 3.0. That's right. Now we all know during the MCO 3.0, the market has taken a breather and not able to break up high, and we're going to show you right here. So all you gotta do, you can see on the top side in here, just switching to a wider chart, and you can see on the KLSE market this morning, definitely we could see some of the gainers in here. It does look like the usual suspect that we have, and market this morning is down again another 6 points. So it's trying to make the the upside, but because let's look at the chart that we have on the here right now. We are in the, as you can see from the chart wise, it's still red pentagon, which means market tend to be slightly moving sideways or more towards the downside. So do take note of this one in here. The respective resistance seems to be just short of 1600. You can see 1590. So yellow pentagon, and if you are following the Pentagon Guider trading strategy, which we always talk about in here, our last year very good result, almost 106% return on a back testing portfolio in there, and that's the one that you should know. This is a time to do what? That's right, to probably stay out, right? Stay out, but still keep within the market here by watching our breakfast show in here. Now, on this news that you see on top side in here, the projection of the continuation of the MCO 3.0 will be very, very tough, to be frank with you. And the MIDF research economists are looking at output loss to the Malaysian economy around 500 million to 600 million on a daily basis. Now in the MCO 1.0, it was estimated 1.2 billion per day. So now it's they cannot afford the total shutdown it is, but it's a tough call on Selangor State, which is where I am living in here, for a full MCO ban. But I don't think they are likely to do that, because the livelihood of the people and also the jobs that they have is going to be impacted in there. All right, so that is what we do think is not likely to happen more than anything else. And if you have any comment about the MCO, do put it in your the comment chat box in here, and we're happy to look at that and also share among us. And also don't forget, we are having a special program this Saturday. That's right, we're going to talk about it towards the end of the show, so don't go away yet. All right, so let's look at the next on our headline news is definitely our banking system in here. Now, despite what we say about the MCO, the institutional financial seems to be very strong in here, and this is rated by the bond rating Moody. That's right, they normally do a cross-regional rating comparing Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, Thailand on the ASEAN region, and this is sort of like a report card on how well the banks are doing. So the Moody Investor Services expected Malaysia growth to be strong, to be frank with you, as we have seen the rebound in the industrial manufacturing IPI in here. So they're giving it this as a thumbs up to the Malaysian economy as well as the banking sector. And right now you could see even on the hot sector side, the financials are coming back. That's right. Okay, how do we know that? You can go on to the main screen, and this is why you want to do that. When you see news like this on top of you, and you kind of want to tie it to what sector is about to move. So let's look at the hot sector here, and you can see the news on top correspond to item number 3, which is the finances. And if you type on the finances here, then you could see all these are potential stock trade idea that you use as of 18th of May. You know, we have Public Bank Green, RHB Bank Green, and this is the kind of technique that professional people use it, how to tie with news to this. And if you do any of this sort of having a good trade setup, again, going back to the agenda 2021, all we always talk about is train trader and train investor in here, then you're able to get in. Of course, those of you who want to do sector rotation, this is definitely one way to look at it. All right, so let's get back to our SMARTRobie in here. And all right, that's exited out. So let's move on to our next headline. So the next headline is definitely on DNO. We know a lot of technology stocks has taken a beating, and something for our masterclass member that we're going to be talking tonight on the revision course. Tonight, there won't be any public talk, but definitely for our members, our Trade VSA members, we will start at 8:30 and we were going to go on to about 11. We have 2 other coaches and my trainer will be joining us tonight. Definitely my update to you will be on the US market, on the so-called technology sectors in here. So definitely, if you're masterclass students, you definitely get that special privilege in here. So think about joining our masterclass on our next intake. Now, back to this news again. The DNO is actually riding up on the popular and also the renewable energy, which we've been talking about since Biden was elected. And Joe Biden this morning also talked about, that they will not be beaten in terms of the EV and battery technology, renewable energy from their closest competitor, China. So that they will tell you a lot of investment will going into the EV sector. And that right now, this news, DNO are poised to ride from the electric motor in here. And all in all, you could see the sales of the electric vehicle in China rose 180 million. And that has been the big driver in there. That's what US is also going into this. This research report also talk about the massive growth that we see, 249% year to date from it, and that seems to be driving ENO. But DNO, having said that, the stock prices has not able to sustain so far. Let's look at the DNO here. Okay, and you could see again, bearing in mind all things being technology are taking a breather. So you look at DNO and you could see right now this news is already sort of being priced in. It came out, this news was this morning, but the stocks had reacted in here. No green pentagon, but definitely the red pentagon that you see, which appeared just shortly on the 18th of March, was the signal and signal. That's right. So every time when you have red pentagon, especially when you break down the ATR stop loss, that tells you market likely to go down for some time before you revert back up. Will this go any higher? Definitely I will update you tonight for our members there. All right, so if you look from here onwards, the DNO may give you a good buying opportunity for those of you who are still technology and want to capitalize on this EV. And again, this EV story will continue for many years to come. As I said before in here, something that our reader and our audience who's listening tonight should take note of. All right, let's move on to our next news headline. Now, news headline is definitely on the usual market recovery, economic recovery theme that we talk about, the food and beverage, but in this case, is alcohol. That's right. Now, the Carlsberg news that came out this morning, which was covered by some of the analysts, continue to talk about the continued better business from both the Malaysian and Singapore operation in here. So, having said that, a lot of news is still focused on the reopening of the economy that we've seen did not enjoy our Malaysian market, did not enjoy the market that they've seen in Singapore after Chinese New Year. They had a very, very tight control of their operation and prevent COVID-19 from spreading in Singapore. So the business and economy continue to open in Singapore. So that has promoted a lot of the alcohol business, in this case for Carlsberg, to move on. But in Malaysia, this will probably be impacted in here. So you can see, but however, going back to last year on the back of a revenue ending 31st of March, you could see there was a net profit of 66 million, increase of 75 million if you look back from the old lower base back to last year, March 2020. And going forward, it will continue to be challenged because this MCO 3.0, which will last to end of beginning of first week of June, will have another impact on Carlsberg. Let's look at Carlsberg. For having said that, CAF, you can see right here, switching to a wider chart. And so you can see Carlsberg chart wise, wow, again, take note of the red pentagon. Whenever red pentagon comes out, that's the one you really have to, think about it. Do I want to stay with it? You can see red pentagon actually came out somewhere around 24 ringgit. All right, again, those of you who want a more active chart may want to switch on to the trading view, our trade VSA plugin that we have that I'm going to show you next in here. Right now it's about 2160. That's right, 2160 in here. And well, we will see whether Carlsberg is still one of those what we call very favorable dividend player. And we're going to go on to our stock fundamental here. And definitely stock fundamentals does tell you the PE you see on the top right hand side there, 43 times, which is still in par with the sector average of 66, 74% ROE. That actually gives it a very high rating of 6 out of 8. A good investment in here. The overall, you can see this does give it a target price of 12 or 51.2 times PE at $26. Right now it is doing $22, and you can see there who are the top shareholders. A lot of institutional, you can see AIA, Great Eastern, and also Carlsberg Brewery, which is the parent company in here. So all in all, this is a dividend player at 1.78%. Of course, there are some, we talk about Plantation, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago, which have higher payment from this dividend here. Again, depend on the strategy that you're taking up, whether you want to have some strategy or not. All right, let's move on to our next headline. Now, next headline is on Pestec, which continued to be on the news on the electrifying of our RTS, Malaysia-Singapore Rapid Transit system in here. That 4 kilometer that connects between, I think, somewhere in Singapore, whether it's going to be Woodland or it's going to be in Tanjung Pagar, connecting to Johor. So that is going to bring some sort of the business to in here for the Pestec. Let's look at Pestec stock this morning, okay? Okay, Pestec. And let's look at the livestock price, whether this news will impact. Definitely right now, it is down minus 3.6% in here. All right. And let's look at the chart. Okay. And you can see chart wise, it did turn a green pentagon with a blue trend zone. Yesterday has made a new push, but this morning fell short in here. So there seems to be a lot of resistance around the $1, and let's take a look at it. 1125, that's right, the 1125, 113 seems to be that resistance in here. And again, right now on the backdrop of the MCO 3.0, which seems to be the theme, our market this morning, you can see, could not go higher. First, you need to look at the mother index, which is a KLCI, and you can type the KLCI market today. That probably tell you where we are. But going forward, this is going to be the trend zone, will be the real issue going forward in here. Definitely, will it tend to go higher? This market need to accumulate first, right, to remove any more sellers coming in here before that. Now let's look at Pestec fundamentally, whether it is sound or not. All right, and you can see Pestec in here, P of 16 times, with the ROE of 7 and a dividend just short of 1% in here. Definitely has a no rating because of the lower return of equity. That's how SMARTRobie calculate. They're able to give you a very good valuation of the shares if it can go up or down. All right, let's move on to our next news that we have. And it's going to be focusing on the US market. That's right. Now, the US market did make a new high recently. I think about 35,000 since then has corrected. The Dow Jones fell 267 points last night, and also the tech sectors are all pricing in a rising inflation. Now, many of you may have known the recent report from the US FOMC talking about a 4% inflation rise compared to last year. That seems to be pricing into the market. As such, the 10-year yield interest rate has started to rise up in here. Now, so far, nothing has been said about whether the bond buying will continue to be more or less. Of course, bond buying will be more. That will pretty much control the interest rate. But having said that, all things being equal, I do think when the economy is recovering in here, rising inflation, it's a good thing, but the question is how fast does it rise? Right now we can see inflation rising, so there will be a time where the federal FOMC will increase, right, the interest rate sooner rather than later, and all these are pointing to end 2022 rather than 2023 or 2024. So what does that mean? That means a lot of the stocks are pricing. That's why we can see tech sectors have definitely corrected a lot in here. As soon as the interest rate can be pretty much controlled and priced in quickly, then we can see a continued resumption of the trend. No doubt about it, a rising interest rate is good, but in moderate level will give the economy, which in this case the US market, stronger. They will poised to have a nice recovery. But do take note, usually we have a lot of cases where the stock market will move ahead of the economy. Right now, we know the economy is doing well, but the stock market is going down. So that will also tell you another picture what's actually happening today in here. All right. Let's go on to our next news in here. Now, our leaderboard for our immediate trade idea so far, right? We did had, this is going back somewhere in March, and we do know that right now we're getting some correction. We do pick up a few things. I think plantation was the last week hit, and since then has moved pretty much aside. But let's look at the lesson learned from our last two trade in here. Now, definitely the 12th of May, last Wednesday, we look at IGM, another plantation peak, which is still pretty much stagnant, not ready to move up, because we do see a little bit of correction on the CPO prices in here. CBIP continue to move. All right, let's take a look at the chart that we have in here. And let's look at where we are. Pekka continue to hold its ground. And the first one is IJM. Okay. So those of you who wants to subscribe to this, definitely an active trader can actually use this. If not, you can just use the SMARTRobie. So let's take a look at where we were last week. I'm going to switch this to an hourly chart. And you can see last week we were on the 12th of May. So 12th of May around 10 o'clock at this time, you can see market continue to move sideways, and then we have only 18th of May, which is yesterday, because the market was closed for Thursday and Friday in here, and it took the impact of the overall world global oil and gas market in here and reacted to it. Usually the case is when you have a long weekend in here, market will take a little bit of hammering, but if it will stabilize, it will continue uptrend from here. So you can see from here, IGM Plantation had two up thrusts, but you got a spring, and that means the market pretty undecided in here. It's going to continue to fight up and down, and it'll be interesting to see this today closing. Right now, you can see the volume there are pretty low. You can see right at the bottom here. This is still early. Right now, you may end up with the test bar. So we will see. Usually, upthrust, that means sign of weakness is coming in here. All right. So they'll continue to fight on and fight on. Okay. So we just need to wait a bit longer in here. All right. So next one we have that we pick CBIP. Okay, CBIP. Okay, now CBIP on the 17th of May, okay, which is actually the Monday in here. Again, market down 7 points. Okay, market down 7 points. It did recover back, right, to 18th of May. 18 May recover back, and this morning recovering back. So CBIP is some sort of a pullback over the long weekend in here. Again, same situation that what we talked about just now for IGM Plantation in here. Corrections adjusting to the world market that it was out of sync for the last 2 days in here. Still looks okay to me. Trends are up. You could see the ATR stop loss is still above the ATR stop loss. This is the red line here, and that's one of the things I do take note for our trading view. One of the great benefits for this is you can see compared to many other providers out there, you will have the intrinsic charts, which is part and parcel of TradingView, property, the earnings and dividend in there, right? And of course, the package that you all have, right, also allows you to access 55 market in here. All right, so let's look at the next one we have is PECCA, PECCA. Now, PECCA continued to move up, and we did talk about this trade idea back in the 28th of April, somewhere around here. You can see still holding its base, right? Again, you will see the pattern of PECCA. This is really smart money, but do take note, take some profit if you have not. And those of you who have come in, be very careful. I'm just looking for this kind of chart. You will see one slam down very, very soon. Normally the kind of idea that I have, usually you want to take a little bit of profit. Let's look at why I do say that is that you need to understand PECCA is in the ladder car seats. Okay, so ladder car seats are not like LED, so the kind of demand that they make is going to be based on probably some projects that they win, the number of cars that they have. So let's look at the stock fundamentals first. Look at the valuation. So you can see from here, valuation is not cheap at all. You can see it's recording almost 78 times PE, just an ROE of 6% with a dividend of 1. So that really makes it really, really pricey for this one in here. So this is one of the earlier stocks that we pick up way back. You can see in January, right, continue to run up in here. In January about 170. If you can run this until the next red pentagon, if you take a little bit of partial profit and do that, that's a very nice, how much is that? Let's take a look at this, from somewhere around here. It's crazy, 174% return, all right, for this stock in here, just following the green pentagon, all right. And those of you who have followed our breakfast show from the many months before would know PECCA was the earlier pick in January. Or you can check out the older episode in the youtube.tradevsa, because all our archive that you see here are put into YouTube for your educational reading in here. Okay, good. Let's look at the next segment that we have for you is our stock trade idea this week. That's right. This Wednesday, we have selected 2 trade idea from our from our trending stock. First one is TGUAN. They are the plastic guys, right? And how do I know that? I'll just go to TGUAN, right? I think it's also important if you want to, understand what they do, just go over to stock fundamental and hit the easy button to see. Okay, there we go. We got TGUAN. Okay, we have just wait for the TGUAN to come back in here, right? Okay, so, and you can see right now on TGUAN, the market is holding up here. Okay, let's try it again. Oh, there you go, TGUAN. Okay, okay, looks like we have a connection in here. We'll come back to each other. So let us look at TGUAN in here, and you can see we have a nice line change. Again, this is one of those trade setup that we always talk about, the nice accumulation and market stages in here. Then you can see that breakout up very, very soon. Okay, so we're probably going to get 1 or 2 pullbacks right now. They're going to be a support at 265. So this is a nice chart in here. Okay, looks like we have to come back to our charts in here later on. So next one we have for TGUAN is Hengyuan. Okay, Hengyuan. And Hengyuan did turn green pentagon much earlier in here. So this is like buying in the middle of a stage 2. We have some pullback in here, a good support at 567 in here. There was a nice line change on the 18th May, also concurred with the WTI crude oil movement, I believe so. But today there's just a pullback here at 3% in here. Again, another earnings is coming up soon, so do take note of this one here. And just be a bit careful. Those of you try to buy at the support in here, but the trend is certainly moving up in a nice trend. So those are our 2 trade ideas. That's right, for TGUAN and Hengyuan. All right, so let's move on to our next segment that we have here for you. Is definitely on our news update. Let's see if SMARTRobie is back. Okay, no, I think the connection in here, we will come back to it shortly on this one in here. So let's go on to our next news. All right, now again, going back to our Pentagon guided strategy, right? We'll still continue to publish this because this is real public information that we have. Currently, our trade using a 31,000, we are still up 15% compared to a KLSE or -3 right until the mid-May. So we are still pretty in good territory. Not great, but still respectable in here with a win rate of 75% for all our trades. How do we do that? Very simple. When we see trend zone right now for the KLSE is yellow, we will likely to stay out from this kind of purposes in here. Okay, so let's look at the next one. How is our portfolio comparing in here? So this also tells you, I'm going to be asking many of you, how is your portfolio compared to the KLSE? Are you up and down? Care to share with us? Put it in the comment box in there. I'll happy to look into it too. All right, let's look at the next one idea that we have. All right, is this setup that we have. All right, now this is the so-called conceptual map that we've seen. Now early on we did see this with one of the stocks. Just now we were talking about the like Hengyuan or TGUAN. We have this one bar here. This is the first bar that you see on the green pentagon. Then subsequently will we see this bar continue to go up for TGUAN? If it's good, then there will be just very nicely done. All right, so let's look at the next news that we have. Right, and this is the tutorial that you want to. All right, okay, now this Saturday, you also see that on the comment, we are doing a really so-called fundamental basic on financial wealth planning, because I do see many of the public who comes in, and we really want to talk about how to grow your money, how to reduce debts. Some of my personal experiences that I have early on in my earlier career on financial planning. So I'd like to share with you also on this coming Saturday from 2:30 to 4:30. If you have nothing much to do, just bring in your loved one or your colleague or your friends, and we're going to be examine how this mindset of early personal finance to be planned early, and how it can help you to build, like it helped me over time to build this very nice nest egg, so you can go on doing things that you love, like looking at the market like I do now. So that is something which will be going on this Saturday, 22nd of May, 2:30 to 4:30. There's a QR code there, or you can go to the pinned comment in there and register. It's totally free. Do share this with your friends and your colleague, so we have a good turnout in here. And really going back to the real basic, why do you want to grow your money? That's right. So we'll be looking at in here, and some of the so-called lesson learned that I'll have in my life, I will share with you in there. Then you will definitely learn from a lot more, and especially the junior, those people in here. So definitely don't miss out this coming Saturday. All right. Now we're going to go on to next. Our area is to look at some of the stocks that we have for our top fans in here. Those of you top fans who've been sharing regularly in here, we will look at your stock picks that you want me to look at. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the stocks pick. Let me just switch over to the chart here. Bring up. We have the first one, JCY. Okay, JCY from Yang. Okay, JCY. All right, again, all right, very simple. As I always said before, when it is yellow pentagon, all right, and it broke below the last high ATR stop loss, so this stock's not going to go anywhere. right? And that seems to be the market in here. It just lost that steam after early May. This market couldn't go up anymore. Right now the market is likely going to be base building around 38 cents. So it's important part and parcel to understand the trend setup and what's the longer term intention in here, whether you want to have a fundamental longer term in here. All right. So okay, another Richie Reed asked about revenue. Okay, now revenue again also broke down in here. If you want to do at the pullback, okay, can we enter revenue at the pullback price? I think you can, but do take note. Revenue is in a pullback situation, but you need to learn to trade with the right setup. Okay, if you want to trade with the right setup, definitely something you want to consider is coming to a masterclass and learn it. A lot of time people want to do pullback, but lack of skill or lack of information, and then eventually kalang kabut. So normally I will advise that if you don't want to keep it simple, then you just want to wait until the green panel comes up. But if you're going to do something what we call pullback, an advanced technique, get the right skill, get the right training. Else you might just fall into that pit hole trying to do something that may be a bit difficult. Again, we always talk about this in some of my free workshop. We always say now, a lot of those pullback trades generally are difficult trades to do, all right? Unless you have many years of experience of winning, losing, knowing things you want to watch out with. Maybe it's some time to learn about it from from our masterclass program. Think about it. If not, if you're going to be doing this pullback trade in here, you can use the SMARTRobie pullback trade idea in here, but follow the stop loss. If you want to keep it simple, stick to the green pentagon when revenue comes out. All right, let's look at CIMB. I think CIMB for it's a pretty nice trade here. CIMB just turned green pentagon in here, 1 bar pullback again. Just now the earlier hot sectors that we talk about, the finance is number 3. I think at one point in time, maybe the next couple of days or maybe next week, you'll see finance will become the hottest sectors in here. All right, okay, let's take a look if there's any more. Okay, we got JF Tech for Miss Lee. Okay, JF Tech, that's right. So JF Tech again, same story. The tech stocks has pulled back. It's holding up this level in here. When it took through up, but overall, I think the earnings coming out, which is this week or next week, will have a pretty. If the result is good, the market likely to gap up and then go through some sort of profit taking. Okay, and. Okay, let me just get this out first. Okay, so we'll go through some sort of profit taking in here. If the market goes through undergoing some stress where the result is bad, you will see this thing will going to break down in here. And right now, as I said before, the tech stock seems to be pricing a lot of things. It's not the rosy like what you saw previously around somewhere in January and February. That is where everyone else in the world, including the US market, is very inclined towards technology. Right now, technology stocks have the same effect like healthcare early on, and they are trying to rotate to the next sector in here. Okay, another one is Chari Min. Okay, one of our fans, okay, is looking into this. Okay, Chari Min, you bought it at 76 cents. That's a bit high, isn't it? You should have bought it around the green pentagon here. So if you bought it at 76 cents, okay, follow the trading plan. To be frank with you, follow the trading plan. That will keep you alive. Use the ATR stop loss in there, and then should be fine if it does break through that. But I do think that all things being said, the all sectors seems to be coming back in here. And if the all sector is coming back, then a lot of these stocks going to move up. Have a profit target before going further in here, okay? Let me see. Okay, so that's looks like all right. That looks like all the stock pick that you guys want me to look at. So don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube. All right, and for all our segment will be archived, so you can enjoy them together and so share. And don't forget this coming Saturday for our financial planning talk. learn to grow your money, really going back to the basic, even before learning how to invest, learning how to save money, learning how to reduce your debt, and something which is good for those of you who want to know more and sharing from my experience. Of course, our iPad giveaway for May and July campaign continue to be on. So submit your best stock trade idea at that time and get a chance to win for best submission. First 50 submission, you get a $50 Grab voucher and a chance for iPad. And for those of you who are first time, do join our Telegram chat room in here for a lot of stock information and a lot of giveaways, education tips. So I will see you on Friday for our breakfast show. If not, on Saturday 2:30 for our Zoom session, Financial Wealth Planning. Learn to grow your money. With that, I bid you a good day and thank you for coming. I hope you enjoy and learn something today. Bye-bye.